So in today's video I'm going to be taking a closer look and testing out the zooming capabilities on the newly released Nikon Coolpix P1100. Now this particular camera can zoom in to a whopping 125 times optical, and then you can digitally zoom on top of that. Now that's a focal length equivalent from 24mm right up to 3000mm. So it's going to be great to test the zooming capabilities today. Now I'm just going to show you how far the lens comes out whilst it's zooming. Again, we're at 24mm and we can punch right out there to a staggering 3000mm, 125 times optical. It just keeps going, as you can see. So in today's testing, just behind me sits a town called Bolsover, and that's exactly 2.2 miles away from my location as the crow flies. So we've got a castle over there, it's the town of Bolsover. So I'll be zooming into that as close as I can get with the 125 times optical. And then I'm going to be using that digital on top of the optical, just to see how clear it is whilst using the digital zoom on top of the optical there. And then when I'm done zooming in and out of some subjects in Bolsover town, I'm going to find some other subjects what aren't as far away, let's just say around a mile away. I'll let you know how far they are approximately when I zoom in. I know this because I've been on Google Earth, so they're going to be roughly same, give or take a few meters there. So now let's start zooming in with a Nikon Coolpix P1100. Here we go. Right, so now let's start zooming into Bolsover Castle. Again, it's 2.2 miles away, so let's just see how clear this footage is. I'll get to 125 times optical and then I'll stop, which is that. So now I'll just punch back a little bit, get it all in context. So that's 125 times optical, and now I'll use that 4 times digital on top. Again, the quality is not going to be as good as this, but let's just test it to the maximum here. So there's your 4 times digital on top of that 125 times optical. And now let's zoom back to the 125. So that's the maximum zoom range, 125 times optical. And now let's zoom all the way back. So I'm zooming all the way back from where I'm sat, which is 2.2 miles. It's quite hard to grasp that. That's really good zooming technology. Right, so just centre frame, there's a church. If you can make that out, you've got very good eyesight. So again, this is just a little over 2 miles away in that Bolsover town. So let's start zooming here. Now you'll see it come to light. Now I'll just have to adjust the camera. As I've said, just long lens protrudes out and it can weigh the end of the tripod down there, so I'm just going to get it back into frame. There we go. So now I'm at 3000mm, 125 times optical. Now let's use that digital. So now we've fully maxed out with the zoom. Let's get back to the 125 optical, which is there. Now let's zoom all the way back. So again, that just sits just over 2 miles away. So once again, that's pretty breathtaking how far we can zoom there. And now just to the right of that church, there's a water tower. Again, you'll not be able to make it out because I'm 2 miles away. But now let's focus on that water tower. So just for a change this time, I've started right close in, as you can see, to this water tower. I'm going to pull back to the 125 times optical, which is that right there. Again, this is just a little bit more than 2.2 miles away, as it sits at the furthest end of the town. So now let's start zooming all the way back to me. Again, this is all true optical which you're viewing. I do apologise for the wobble, but that's because the camera is quite weighty, and on a tripod, as I've said, when that lens protrudes out, it gets a bit top heavy. And now this motorway sign lies exactly 1080 metres away, give or take from the measurements from Google there. Now you're looking at 125 times optical, I'll now digitally zoom on top. So that's 4 times digital on top of that 125 times optical. I'll just get back to the optical there. And now I'm going to zoom all the way back to me. So this is 1080 meters away. So that's considerably closer than the couple of miles that we've just been doing. So now I'm at the maximum zoom range. I'm digitally cropped in on top of that 125 times optical. You can clearly see those letters EQ. Now this is on a warehouse approximately 1.6 miles away. So now let me zoom back to the 125, which is that right there. Then I'll zoom all the way back to me. Again, this is 1.6 miles away. So now you can't make out those letters at all. So that's really good testing that zoom function there, because you can clearly make out those letters, and as you're looking right now, you just can't. And again, just in front of the camera, there's a lake down there. We can not only see the lake, we can zoom into the geese. So I'd say that's just over a mile away. And if I keep punching in, I'll just be able to make out some geese here. There we go. And that's fully punched in using that digital zoom. (125 times optical). And then all the way back. So that's just over a mile away. And now let's zoom all the way back to that security camera in the middle of the field. And you see the camera just move slightly. Now I'll use that digital. So although that image is shaking, it's truly remarkable. So I cannot even see that pole from where I'm sat. So we're going to zoom all the way back and then find yet another subject. And here's what a person looks like at just nearly 2 miles away. It's just in front of the castle there. And from where I'm sat now, I cannot see that guy whatsoever. Again, zooming all the way in. So that's just, I'd say that's just under 2 miles. And also when you're doing any kind of zoom test, especially with a lens which protrudes as much as this one, it can get top heavy there and start to wobble. So it's always best to have a tripod, which I'm filming on at the moment, but this is going to be set up on a tripod. And you also want a remote control, because it's got great stability, anything within about 500 meters to 600 meters and you'll be fine. But if you're zooming in, like I'm zooming today, a couple of miles away, you need it static on a tripod. And you don't want to be touching the zoom, because any type of movement when that zoom lens is right out, it's as though it's doing this when really it's minuscule. So always have a remote control and a tripod when you're doing long distance zooms. So I hope you've enjoyed this video today. Unfortunately, there's a bit of haze in the distance. Now that wasn't forecast today, that's why I've come here. But yet again, the weather usually is wrong. But hopefully we could see the subjects that I was zooming in on there. So if you like zooming videos like this, you'll be pleased to know that I've done a real in-depth zooming video on the moon there. Now that's 288,000 miles away allegedly. And this can get right into those craters. And at 1 minute 33 on that video, I've captured what looks like some tall tower structures. You want to take a look at that? I'll put it in the end screen so you'll be able to see it there. So as always, do stay tuned to the channel as there's going to be plenty more videos on the horizon. But for now, thanks for watching, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and bye for now.